Good morning. It is July 19 and I am still in Penticton. Today I decided to do the KVR Trail, which stands for Kettle Valley Railway. I'm only doing a very little section of it, of course. It's very many kilometers long. Apparently there's cool things to see along the way, so hopefully it's just not pure flat and boring. And right away, the wreck of Little Joe Raymond. There's a history part right there. Ah, you can see the marina. Oh, my poor engine. So, some fun history. Five minutes into the walk and I can already tell this probably wasn't the best idea. I've passed many people already, but it is good in that it's in the shade. So I'll take the good with the bad. So yeah, I'll get pretty views like this anyways. Oh, a nice bench. Talks about the habitat here, grasslands. Just a little bit hazy from wildfire. Thankfully not horrible. Continuing on with the hike through the Bible, we're on Leviticus chapter 19 now. Now this is an eclectic chapter full of various different sundry laws. Some of these laws we've heard before, but there are some new ones. And it's a very important chapter because Jesus quoted from this chapter when he was on this earth. But I'll get to that later. So I'll highlight just a few of these laws. First off, he tells Moses to speak to the congregation of Israel and say to them, "You shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy." This is the keynote of the book of Leviticus. Throughout the book, stress is ever on holiness. 1 kilometer in, there's deer fencing, but I believe the deer are on the wrong side of the fence. Oh dear. Oh, up close and personal with some vineyards. This is really a pretty walk. I am enjoying this. I'd enjoy it more on my bicycle though. I didn't bring my bike. God's people are to imitate His holiness by following His principles, which are based on love. Oh, I spotted something. This chapter contains a remarkably diverse mixture of moral, ethical, and religious ritual laws regulating relations to God and to other human beings, especially protecting those who are in danger of being mistreated by others. The point of this mixture is that God's people are to be holy in every aspect of their lives, including areas that seem to be secular. I took a little detour off a cliff, or onto a cliff. I'm not gonna get too close. Whoa. Oh my. Yeah, this is pretty fun. The first command is to revere your father and mothers and to keep God's Sabbaths. I am the Lord your God. These laws of holiness point first to the principles at heart of the Ten Commandments, dealing with respect for the human and divine parties responsible for our creation, parents and God, whose role as creator is remembered by his Sabbaths. What? There's a crematorium right there? Oh, this is a cemetery. Oh, I guess the engineer of this railway, McCulloch, is buried here somewhere. So this is part of the Great Trail. Really, I need to do the whole KVR Trail. That would be phenomenal. I mean, how fun is this? Walking amidst a vineyard. So pretty. Another good sound law is that God asks people at reaping time to not reap the whole field or vineyard, but to leave some for the poor and the stranger. God looks with pity upon all those who are in need and has commissioned his people to provide for those according to their need. It helps the giver to develop a liberal spirit and also places him often in the position of helping God to answer prayer. Pretty morning glories. You shall not cheat your neighbor nor rob him, and the wages of him whom you have hired you shall not keep with you all night until morning. That's a good one. Oh, I see a trestle. That's pretty cool. What's with all the rocks on it? That's a beautiful weeping willow. Whoever thought you could be above a weeping willow? Now I'm walking through an apple orchard, and it is pruned in a cordon style. That's really neat to see that up close. They look like delicious. Golden delicious, maybe. To withhold wages agreed upon is displeasing to God and dishonest. Don't curse the deaf or put a stumbling block before the blind. I've gone 3 kilometers. This is an interesting one. You shall not be partial to the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. This is a baby vineyard. Oh, and now a cornfield. I'm just loving this walk so much. You shall not go about as a talebearer, nor shall you take a stand against the life of your neighbor. The Jews see this as anyone in danger, such as from drowning or robbery or wild beasts, is duty bound to help that person. Or if he happens to witness a crime or a personal injustice, he is bound to go to the individual and help rescue him, either by personal assistance or by bearing testimony in a court. Penticton is big into people cycling. They've got all kinds of trails. This is where I should have parked, but I'm going to turn back now. Skate park or something. I think I went about 4 kilometers, so that means 4 kilometers back. Plus I'm by a busy highway and it's hard talking, so I think it's a good time to turn around. What a perfect name for a business. Whistle Stop Bed and Breakfast. Huh. You shall not hate your brother in your heart. Aw, for sure. You could hate someone without giving any outward evidence of it, but God knows the heart. You shall surely rebuke your neighbor and not bear sin because of him. The rabbis taught that he who does not rebuke an offender shares in his sin, and it would be better if he threw himself into a burning furnace. Beautiful no matter what angle you come from it. You shall not take vengeance nor bear any grudge against the children of your people, for you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Does that sound familiar? Here is love at the heart of the Pentateuch, which is the foundation for the whole Bible. This is what Jesus quoted. He recognized that all of God's law and his will as revealed in the whole Old Testament is based on love, which is God's character. The fact that love can be commanded shows that it is a principle governing the treatment of others. It is not just an emotion. Oh, I think that was a rattler. It was a pretty big snake, and right by the side of the pathway. And there's been tons of people going by, and of course I'm the one to see the snake. Oh my. You shall not shave around the sides of your head, nor shall you disfigure the edges of your beard. You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor any tattooing marks on you. Cutting the sides of one's hair and beard, cutting oneself, and tattooing were mourning practices of the Canaanite religion. Do not prostitute your daughter. Yeah, women were not held in high esteem, and if you were poor, it was a great way to get some money. Lastly, a good one is, you shall do no injustice in judgment, in measurement of length, weight, or volume. You shall have honest weights, honest scales, honest ephah, and an honest hin. Jesus says that the same measure that you use will be measured back to you. I had to skip some of the laws in this chapter, but you can go and read it for yourself. I covered the ones that pertain to us a lot. So the Healing Hiker rating for this McCulloch Trestle KBR section is a 4 out of 5. The only reason I dinged it was for the people factor. Way too many people, but otherwise very, very special, even if I did see a snake.